exceptional on. But they're going to say this time around, you can have the Ashe. You would imagine a Heimerdinger and a Jhin are going to come out from the side of WE, as obviously a lot of bot lane options are kind of taken away. Unless you want to go something crazy like a Kaisa with a Nautilus or something.
Well,
I don't really see anything changing.
You still got Elise on the table, but WE haven't played any Elise so far. So it would be a first from them. Maybe that's a read from AL saying, actually, we don't need to first pick that. We can pick towards something else. Of course, Hope played that Jhin in the last game. It wasn't really a deciding factor of game 2. It was fine in the laning phase. They played towards this bot lane duo. It's stable. And that's largely what I'd say about both of these bot lanes, if anything. They have been stable. They haven't necessarily been the main characters of their teams. Betty and SwordArt, I feel like the reason that stability is important for them is because the rest of the map has been so unstable in their losses. That's why it's important for them. But once again, with Ashe, Jhin, Heimerdinger, we know this kind of bot lane flavor fairly well at this point. It's not necessarily going to be very explosive. And now that we see the mid-jungle of the Wukong and the Ryze coming out from Xiaohao and Pingzi, that's where a bit more of your playmaking is going to come through. So once again, signaling that maybe we're looking for a bit more interactivity in that mid-lane matchup.
A little bit more there. The Jhin Heimerdinger locked as well for the side of WE. They recognize you cannot give either of those combinations over with the Ashe. It's just too much of a lane. And no Elise. They don't really feel like Heng can play it or doesn't want to play it at the very least and just take the vibe in this matchup. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I think a lot of the junglers right now, but say, I mean, Maokai is a different one because he's so just fair weather, just works in so many different ways. But something like a Vi or an Elise, they require your team to understand when you're making the plays, and if you're not very much on the same page, then don't pick towards those champions. They can go full off very, very hard if you're just diving into the enemy team or looking for big picks, and they kind of fall apart. So we're looking at solo lanes from Team WE to kind of round out their draft, and we're looking for a top laner and, of course, one of the bot lane pairing. There's the off chance that this could be an Ashe AD carry. Most of the time we're seeing it as the Ashe support, although both Betty and SwordArt have played this one, so that flexibility very much put back on that table. Really wondering now what you want to take into the mid lane. You could take Cassiopeia. Oh wait, that's banned. Okay, right. That's, that was the obvious answer. The Cassiopeia is banned. Maybe you could go towards something like the Galio yourself, though, and kind of match the, kind of mirror the matchup from game 1 and have the extra ability to move across the map.
See what they want to go for right now. AL probably going to ban away, you would imagine, Silas, or maybe even the Kassadin to try and get away from Shanks.
Could be Kassadin as well if you want to focus topside with dives. It's just very hard to dive, and of course Biubiu looked so much better on that pick than the Jackson game 1, so that would be quite valuable as well.
And you're right. I wanted to wait. I was like, we only got a couple of seconds.
Every so often.
You know what?
Right. Yeah.
You know what? You're all right. You can stay.
It's I needed that today. Thank you. It's cold outside. It's been raining here recently.
Rent is due. It's one of those weeks coming up. But yeah, again, we'll see what ends up being the pick here. Again, the Cassante being banned away means we are hoping for WE to maybe not go towards that Jax as. Maybe ZDZ might fancy it himself. Honestly, I would love for him. He could blind a Camille here. There'd be no problem, in my opinion, whatsoever. The Fiora has been a consistent ban from WE as well, away from ZDZ, so we'll see what they want to go for there. Nice smiles coming out from the team. And yes, finally getting themselves something better, and they're happy about it as well.
We get the Kassadin combo as well. We've got Kassadin and then daughter Kaisa facing off across that rift. Just a little thing to put in there. Now you have Bursty, level 6 kind of pick comp from Betty and SwordArt. This Kaisa, of course, something that Betty did very, very well on in the past. In fact, he was one of the very best Kaisa players in the world. When it kind of first hit the stage in like Season 8, when we saw that Flash Wolves kind of crazy group stage run up until, of course, RNG took that title. First one for the LPL for a number of years after that point. But on the other side, you're going to have the Gragas locked in, so it's going to be the nullifying top from Biubiu against CDZ in that Gragas. You have the huge scaling option of Shanks on that Kassadin, and honestly, I like this Kassadin, particularly into the bot side of the map from AL. If you don't have a Jax or a Wukong there kind of playing disruption for Shanks, Shanks can go absolutely off the chain.
Really can. And I do like this, though, from WE getting that Gragas as well, because you got the good disengage, stopping that dive coming in. We talked about, you know, the amount of mobility and just straight up pick potential you have with AL, the Enchanted Crystal Arrow, the Cyclone, the even just, you know, the leap strike in with the counter strike. It is just so many things that can set yourself up, and it's a, honestly, it feels like it's a full cut
out face. Yeah.
But yeah, but anyway, the moral of the story is I went to the tournament, we didn't win. My granddad was a legend. Thank you for my granddad who kind of set up my life in esports. But We're finally into game. We got the connection issues all sorted and ready to go. We're jumping in. This is game number 3 of our second series. Our third series has, I believe, already are due to start very, very soon. So hopefully we'll be jumping straight into that as soon as we are available there. But we got to talk about all the games and even the crowd knows another immediate
the gears
pause.
grind to a halt once more. Into another pause. Yeah, I hope we get this one sorted out quickly. Because again, both these teams kind of like, they've been pretty back and forth this series. Waiting for this third game to finish, of course, it would mean an awful lot when it was Legend. It would do. And WE, be a pretty big blow. Honestly, if you lose this series here, as much as you have an easier strength of schedule coming up, but besides, of course, the JDG top in 1 week, that one's pretty rough. That could very much impact WE's standings in regards to looking towards playoffs, looking towards later into that split. Because this is a team which is, they're angling towards playoffs. They're in that bracket. They're in contention at that point. AL, not really at that level right now. They need to really find themselves a run of form to get onto that same kind of level. But a lot of that can start from game 3s like this, where it has been scrappy, it's not been precise, but you can walk away with a win still.
This is a little bit more worrying than most other pauses. When you pause and then unpause and quickly repause, that shows to me that there is a consistent issue. But we'll wait for an update, of course. I'll let you guys know once we ever get any kind of information. You guys will be one of the first people to know outside of myself and, of course, Nymaera. But it's, this is setting up to be a very interesting thing. We're back in. Hopefully we don't have another pause. I will hold my breath. But coming into this one here, of course, AL are on the cusp. They're so close.
Oh yeah, my finger slipped. Sorry, I clicked pause.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. Got press the game start button. I forgot I gave it to you last week. It's all good, man.
Yeah, no. Yeah, it's really easy to forget sometimes. This is why, of course, AD carries kind of come into counter Heimerdinger. Turret Sarge was long range. Ashe is basic auto attack range. Outrange those turrets slightly, it means you don't get maximum value out of those turrets. Of course, Heimerdinger still has his uses, but still doesn't become that real obnoxious range support, which kind of bullies you out and pushes you in. Still actually trading pretty okay. 2v2, HP traded, but no sense of an all-in right now. Junglers starting on other sides of the map, but both of them will be scouted out. Of course, throughout the pause, we didn't really get a great chance to look at level 1s and the setup, so may as well have a look at them now. Heng on the Vibe has double wards in his side of the jungle, will be spotted pretty sure all the way through his clear. Very valuable barrier, blocks basically nothing that's sort up. Yeah, Online's still interactive at least.
I mean, look, it's not that long of a cooldown, but yeah, it is definitely a little bit of an unfortunate one. We do tend to see most people who go into the Ashe Heimerdinger, you want to try and use that barrier aggressively, and that's probably the thinking behind it, but just not really on the execute. You're very much under tower at that point, so not really going to get the most out of it as Lwandy tries to push forward here. Betty taking a fair chunk of damage onto himself, to say the least, as Hope does get the Deadly Flourish down. Now we'll see both junglers recognizing that what they're going to do, they're going to try and be a nuisance to each other. I will say Xiaohao arguably should have the 1v1 potential here. With the Kassadin going up against a Ryze, you can see there Pinzy just kind of pinning Shanks down underneath his turret. There's not really a lot here you can do as the Kassadin, as we can see they're going forward. Doesn't land the Q. They're going to get jumped back onto as well. But again, it's just more posturing. This is almost identical to game number 1.
Yeah, using the blast shield well on the Vi to that passive to trade through that shield. When it comes to these kind of like broken up trades, Vi can actually do quite well against the Wukong. But one of these, look, Kassadin can't play at level 1. Like, he just doesn't have the stats.
He can't play at level 3. Okay. He can't play at level 3 either, allegedly. My God, that was so close. And forces himself out with the flash. We can even see now CDZ saying, cool, I know the Vi is there. I can proxy farm. I don't know if he wants to, but he can.
He can, because he knows that the Vi isn't there, as you were saying. And the reason he's not there is because he's impacting this mid lane again. We knew that these junglers really like impacting this mid lane in this series so far. And once again, both these junglers finding each other out in the jungle. Kassadin teleported back, no flash this time. Xiaohao gonna find him out though.
Xiaohao is going to look into him there and say, okay, know exactly where he is. He's not gaining anything from this. You got to remember, though, the invades come in with Xiaohao. Yes, he's being a nuisance and he's giving priority over to Ryze into the mid lane. However, he's not gaining any position. He's not gaining any farm. It's not as if he's coming out and going, cool, we got all this pressure. I'm gaining all of this and denying Heng. He's actually slightly behind, you would argue, in terms of the clear. As everything kind of comes said and done.
Gets double scuttle.
Yes.
That's the one thing, right? So you get double scuttle, which means you one camp up, and at the end of the day, you're going to go back and clear your camps anyway. You will then be effectively, I guess, 2 camps up technically, because you've denied one, you've gained one yourself. But like as you're saying, both of you are set behind by this because you're not clearing on time. You're not kind of getting the most fast clear possible. But I think, honestly, that is okay for Xiaohao in this instance, because if you already have a winning mid lane with Ryze kind of using his early power over the Kassadin very early on, it just allows him to play that in isolation. The Vi's not going to be there if you're keeping them in check. And now, going into the next few minutes, Dragon has spawned, bot lanes have got their first resets in. We've seen a couple of early Dragons in this series, and Heng will take this opportunity to go towards that.
He is going to try. Lwandy hasn't been spotted on vision. SwordArt has no real idea what's happening right now, so no Hawk shot either. Means this is pretty much going to be a free Dragon. No one really there to contest on the side of AL, and yeah, they're going to get this one for free. He'll now realize it as he tries to walk over, but he needs to be very, very careful. If he gets CC'd here, he can be caught out. They're going to get a lot of damage. The barrier is good. The flash is better. And Mother Nature comes in to help out with a blast cone.
Gaia reaches a helping hand through that blast plant. Does mean both summoners are down from SwordArt once again. Not quite understanding his kind of safe bounds in that one play. So, no kills over. First Dragon over to side WE, and it is, of course, going to be...
Levels.
So we just zoom into Shanks, I guess. It's going to be the Chemtech Soul down, because you're not going to have... You've taken that first Dragon already, which means, again, one of the least valuable souls is going to be off the board once again. Important to note, especially if this does come down to stacking Dragons yet again. You want to make sure that soul is valuable. Of course, that gives you that extra bang for your buck in the late game.
This is where we start to maybe see some rotations coming out here from AL. They have got the level 6s on their solo laners. You would love to have level 6 on Xiaohao before that, and of course the Ashe arrow as well. But this is where the game can get a little bit more testy. I like the Merc Treads rush coming out here for ZDZ, recognizing that he's not exactly in the greatest positions to survive should he get caught out by multiple different levels of CC. And even honestly there, you've Gragas, you've Kassadin, you've a Heimerdinger.
Jhin W, Heimerdinger. There's a lot of value there is actually.
A lot of value there with tenacity.
Yeah, especially when you're running something like a lethal tempo as well, you're low range, you're looking to get as many auto attacks down, and you're not really able to do that when you're pinned in place, of course. So, definitely have to see how much value that tenacity comes in. Gonna have that Herald spawning in a minute. You're not going to have Ashe level 6, which is sometimes something that you see from supports. Ever since a couple of years ago, I think it was the 2020 semi-finals, Damwon had a really, really good... Actually, no, it's 2021, excuse me. It was when kind of Damwon showed that you could kind of get your support to level 6 by leeching some XP off of mid-wave on your way towards that Herald. Not really the case when you've died in lane, you've had to be roaming across the map when you kind of stuck in the enemy jungle, as SwordArt has made so much damage. And again, if he's pinned in lane, neither of these bot lanes heading up towards Herald, so it's just going to be top sides fighting around that objective, if any.
More pressure here in WWE. I don't know why I went with that. And my head is just a little bit fried right now as WE lay down the pain. There's my reference there.
If you don't manage to fit in, like if a jungler like steals an objective, can it be a steal chair an objective? Look, I'm fishing for things and I'm like, what can we get out of this?
I was going to say, I'm a fan of the RKO out of nowhere, personally. It's just like, you know, it's like you kind of like set him up like Randy Orton. It's just like, oh, he's running, he's slithering, oh, RKO. But anyway, we'll get there when it happens, if it happens. But
just to get it on the same page, got that one planned. Everyone note that down in your post-it notes in front of your screen.
Yeah. Make sure you have your bingo cards ready.
Sweet. Oh, see, the Herald has been started. Supports have made the way over here. Hope doesn't have, of course, his ultimate is level 6, but doesn't have his, isn't wandering his way up there just yet. Herald not being started up in earnest. There's going to be a fight over this mid lane. So there's a number of times in this series. Getting that mid lane so you can approach the objective, very, very important. You don't want to be pinned on the objective with a team getting a good approach towards you. Betty making his way over, but not at the fight just yet. If the fight goes over currently, won't have that AD carry.
Plenty of harassment there going on to the Ryze, but nothing really there. And this is the power of the Jhin and the Heimerdinger. Look at all these traps set up, and there we go. They're going to put in the Realm Warp. Xiaohao's being brought in. They finally get it. Explosive cast delivers everybody, but nobody's really gone down just yet. Decent damage here onto Xiaohao and Pinzi, but AL getting a little bit impatient. They do stop the Rift Herald from going down, but now they're really not in a position to contest it.
Yeah, so, Shin, both of us love ourselves a bit of rugby union. There's a term we like to use in that sport called a hospital pass, where you throw the ball to someone who is walking in front of someone who's very, very big. Realm warping in front of the Gragas, who is building that AP, gets the ultimate onto all of them. That's a bit of a hospital pass. No way you can fight after you've taken that big chunk onto everyone and you're forced out of position. Don't mind the initial thought of using that Realm Warp to get yourself onto the right side of things, but execution, not quite there in this case.
No, really not. And that's going to be Rift Herald there going over to WE. And again, they don't lose anything else off with AL, but they are definitely the worst for wear of it. They're trying to see if they can maybe make something work on this top side. No explosive cast here for Biubiu, so he's just going to look for a little bit of harassment and get a little bit back for his troubles. No, again, no ultimate there, but using the the ultimate from ZDZ means that he's kind of just pushing forward as we... Oh, they knew it was happening. He missed the cannon. They were zoomed in and showed ZDZ's shame.
Yeah, Biubiu, he does bring out the Grandmaster's Might from that Jax, but going in aggressively with Body Slam always looks a little bit awkward on the Gragas. You've got to take a second trade to really make the most of things. Pick around the Dragon, that's completely gone.
Yeah, full dive comes in. Now Heng getting slowed down by that Cloud Soul. As you can see now, Hope gets caught out. Shanks does go in straight away, but now he has no real way to go. And that cooldown on that R is so long. They can't kill off SwordArt and WE. They tried to make this one work for themselves. They didn't want to just give up that dragon, but now they're in such a bad position, giving over 3 kills for effectively nothing.
It's a lazy approach towards that dragon. I didn't think they were going to walk in that brazenly. We're talking about the top lane 1v1. Yeah, they were approaching, but you would have thought they'd have used their range a little more, use something like that Jhin ultimate to a bit more effect. And while they do get 1 kill out of it with the CC chaining, as AL try and disengage from their own play, this is the level 6 combo from the Ashe and the Kaisa we were talking about. It's a very quick pick combo, but after this point, you're already in the midst of things. Your Jhin isn't going to have any power after this ultimate. You've got the Ryze stacking up that concrete. You've got the Wukong starting to fire off too as well, who did enough damage even though they went down. It is, of course, going to get them that dragon afterwards because the resets come through, so that is something for them. But that initial fight, I was really worried about their approach.
Absolutely. Now AL with a kind of crystal arrow. There is a flash on Hope, and he will get hit. So now he's probably going to have to use it, but will he be able to survive from it? No, he will not. You have to flash the initial CC. Now you've wasted it. You've given over a kill. And this is just the power of Ashe. This is why we saw AL banning it consistently. It's why we saw AL just constantly putting it as a priority in their ban list, because they're saying, look, this is what we know it can do.
Yeah, you already had that Q evolve from Betty. Huge amounts of single target burst if you're isolated. And Hope just really disrespects what's happening in that bot lane. WE, they might just be about to hand AL a decisive advantage in what could be their first series victory of the year. Not looking to go a 0-8. AL would love to walk out of this first half of the season with something to their name, and WE, that disrespect, just about handing it to them.
Look at the gold now coming out from all the players. You can see the carries of AL doing exceptionally well. Still 2 dragons for WE, so definitely nothing to be ashamed of in that regard. You're giving over a couple of kills for sure, but you are gaining in that regard, as we now have Betty resetting a lot. Not quite sure why he started stepping there.
Just
but
really
sure,
likes the animation.
You know
he
what?
does himself his items while they're zooming in on him. ZDZ
Yes.
wailing away in this 1v1.
Trying to see if he can make it work there by ZDZ. Forces out the explosive cast there from Biubiu. There's another ultimate.
Kaisa ult.
No real vision, which means no real way of pushing back on top of that one there. You got Heng coming in the spot side. Is going to have to drop the Rift Herald. I believe that was only a couple of seconds before it was actually going to drop down. So fortunate to get himself in the position to drop that one down.
There could be a Realm Warp coming in. See if there's any kind of collapse. WE, I think they understand the threat, and they do end up walking away to safety, understanding that they can't stick around. Pingzi and Xiaohao, if they managed to get on top of that 3-man unit, would have been absolutely disastrous because you just have that item completion. onto Ryze. Rod of Ages sticking up, starting to stack up rather. Kaisa, Dirk, Kraken Slayer has that Q evolve, has a lot of damage to bring to bear. When you see those Ashe arrows land, when you see people walking down Rivet, you just have to be on the edge of your seat because that could be the play which explodes the game really into AL's favor.
Well, Heng moving forward. Now gets caught out. They're going to put out a volley. They know that he's not going to be able to do much else into this bot side. So, AL need to be very careful with how they kind of approach this one here. Shanks already level 10. With that Rod of Ages stacking means that he is pretty much on course to get that stacked up right as he hits level 15. Here we go. There's the Heimerdinger ultimate, but they can't really commit to this. A 3v3 for the moment in that bot side. No teleports on either of the mid laners. Means that everyone just kind of backs away. Z putting Shanks really far behind right now, forcing the summoner heal, but of course he has got himself the summoner spellbook, so he's fine just to get rid of that to sustain and get himself back up to that flash. So now, coming into this game, 50 minutes on the clock, Nymaera, where do you want to try and see AL kind of push this priority? Because they've got it, but if they keep kind of stalemating, I feel like it's going to be WE coming back.
Well, they are trying. They're throwing those Ashe arrows out. Honestly, if you're looking to see where they should be pushing the advantage, just keep doing what you're doing. WE, they haven't been precise. They have made mistakes. Keep doing what you're doing. Maybe you'll find yourself an opening. Ashe arrows, Kaisa ults into it, Realm Warps to see if someone's out of position. That's your bread and butter for this composition.
Wait to see. 1 minute till Dragon spawns. Everyone pretty much picking up first items. Actually, Rod of Ages here for Biubiu. Makes a lot of sense. So he's going to be stacking that one just as much as his mid laner is as well. Rift Herald has been started for the moment. This is where we saw a little bit of shenanigans last time. And with Pinzi in the spot side and no way of getting towards this fight, this is almost certainly going to be them giving this one off, but looks like he's trying to maybe move towards it now. I feel like it's just kind of maybe they're baiting that he's maybe there, but I don't know.
I think you give up the Herald because Dragon's up in 40 seconds, right? That'll be soul point over to WE. Mountain soul point. Mountain soul obviously very valuable soul on the whole, especially when you're fighting an awful lot. And when you're against stuff like the volley and Kaisa W's being able to shrug off some of that poke can also be very, very impactful. So it's going to be a bit of a split map. Looks like WE currently not looking to contest the Dragon either. Shanks, I don't know whether he has a teleport behind that exhaust. He might use that now just to see if he can unlock that. But if that's on cooldown, I don't think they'd be too anxious to fight that one either. Just wait to see if they can scale up a little bit later into the game and get Shanks online. When it gets to 5v5s, I think WE have a lot more bang for their buck.
I will say right now, both junglers were on the top side of the map, so no one really in a position to get this one here. Reset comes out here from Xiaohao as Heng throws himself towards that mid lane.
I'm a little surprised by this. I guess AL, maybe they backed up from a Dragon understanding that the Herald could have been used for a big power play while they were on the objectives. They don't want to leave the lane unattended, but this means that they're not going to be into the river first. It means that they're going to have to dive into the WE composition, which with a Realm Warp with an Ashe Arrow, it's possible, but they don't have the vision to support it right now. Look to see what they can get with the Ashe Arrow. That's their real hope here.
Looking for a pick before anything else. They do know there's someone in that brush. Actually, they know there's something in that brush. Dragon has been started. This will put WE on Soul Point and a Mountain Soul incredibly valuable. Biubiu just trying to use those barrels to keep everybody away. ZDZ on a massive flank. Spotted on vision like you just said. So, moving forward, there's the Ashe Arrow. Is going to land onto a pretty big priority target, and they go in straight away. The jungler of WE very, very low. Explosive cast to disengage, and the Hellfires just aren't there. You're going to have a full try and get some damage down. He's not really hitting anybody at the moment. A fourth shot goes right the way wide. Just misses out on everything. But now, TP coming back in. Biubiu is here. Hasn't really fully healed up at the moment. ZDZ hasn't really done anything in this fight because he hasn't needed to. So he's very, very healthy. Dragon's still 4,000 HP. AL looking to try and just deny this one away from WE, and you can see that just having that would be huge, and they get it. Do they look for the fight afterwards? That is the question. This kind of posturing has been happening for so long. The Ashe Arrow is nearly back off of cooldown, and now they can really go. The Ryze ult comes in, and everybody has to disperse. You have to run for your lives. Shotgun Betty right into the back line. The Ashe Arrow is back. It started it, it ended it. AL now in control of this game.
Everything falls apart on the retreat for Team WE. They preyed upon the mistakes. Anyone's legend find themselves in a point. No! Betty gets caught out on the retreat.
Betty! got greedy. You wanted to farm a little bit. You wanted to get those waves, and then Heng gets that one there. But Biubiu trying to see if he can go over. Flash in, counter strike. You shall not kill my ADC without proper revenge. And ZDZ wants this fight. He wants it. He wants one more. But the cooldown on that Q is just too low.
Oh my gosh, everything comes apart after the objective is taken. So we were kind of talking about, okay, what happens with you know, the setup for this. This is after the Ashe ult has landed. This is after you've lost things like the Gragas ult. Key thing here, Biubiu is CC'd as the Realm Walk comes in. It's not a hospital pass this time. If you can get a body slam into multiple members of anyone's legend, maybe you can turn that around. Of course, he still got the Vi over the wall with that with the ultimate available. Of course, wasn't there quite soon enough for that play, but WE, they split up on the retreat. They do get punished for it. At least you get a shutdown back. But even then, it's only onto the Vi. It's not into your big damage carries. It's not going to be hugely impactful in these big team fights in terms of your damage profile.
Speaking of damage profiles, he's already got 203 on the Ryze, picking up 2 items already, stacking up his Seraphs. Going to get the Rod of Ages as well. Nearly got the Collector as well coming out here for Kaisa's Biubiu. Trying to see if he can maybe trade that one back into... We have a replay here. I'm not quite sure exactly what happened here. Ah! Both supports went in.
Hang on a second. Wait, did he just die? Oh no!
He does die. That's why we came back in. I didn't even notice SwordArt had died, man. I swear, I came back and I didn't even notice.
I was too busy like bemoaning like the death of Betty after that his lane partner just like completely missed on the death recap of that one. But hey, it's another kill over. It's a little bit of gold in pocket. Of course, the gold is going onto the Vi, it's going onto the Heimerdinger. Oh, that's a good pick.
Yeah, they're going to look to try and secure the kill on the jungler. Baron is live, and you've got yourself a Kaisa with a Kraken Slayer. This could be significantly quicker than you would expect here from WE. And this is what we're seeing a lot from the LPL teams. 20 minutes, go for Baron, make a play, force the enemy team to try and go for you.
You have to look at Lwandy to do something on this Heimerdinger. You don't have a Gragas ult, it has to be on the support.
Here we go. They're going to go for it. They're going to try and maybe burn this one down before anything else can really happen. There's the Baron secured by the side of AL. They're going to try and maybe get out with 5 members. Everyone's kind of separated, though. The solo laners of WE were doing a lot of work, but they've lost a lot of health. And 5 members in 21 minutes. You've got AL with a Baron.
But this is a huge set of plays. AL, they have managed to push the tempo up. They've managed to keep themselves in the right position to respond to someone out of position. This time it's the jungler as the Baron spawns at AL. After that play, they've denied that dragon. They've gotten themselves that Baron. They're in position now to get themselves their first series victory of the entire year.
Not quite across the line yet. You've got a gold lead. You've got plenty of gold now into your carries. Level 10 on that stacked Rod of Ages. Shanks is on 9, so he's not going to get that one up nicely to the level 16, unfortunately for him, but he should get it up to 15 if he can get a level or so before then. Here we go, Pinz. Not going to get caught out by that. This is reminiscent of Biubiu in game number 1 comparatively to game number 2. Biubiu hasn't really been anything for WE in this game, and with ZDZ now moving up towards that top side, he's just making plays, and this is what we wanted to see from ZDZ on the Jax in that game, or excuse me, it's what we wanted to see from that Jax from Biubiu in that first game, is that you can't deal with him on the side lane. This is a very similar composition that AL have built themselves for, that WE tried to make work in that first game.
Okay, ultimate to back up. Xiaohao's looking for the flank. They have vision control. Look again, you could look towards a big dive coming just up. Maybe not under the tower just yet, though. Not throwing away their lead too easily. Just again, poking and prodding at these towers, trying to clear it out.
We have not lost their tier 1 in the mid lane just yet. 15 seconds till Dragon spawns. ZDZ has a TP, so honestly ZDZ can just stay in that side lane, just keep putting pressure down. Shanks is going to lose out a little bit on that Rod of Ages. I believe he got it just as he was about to hit level 14, so he only got level 14 from it, which is a bit unfortunate.
It's annoying, actually.
Yeah, it's a bit unfortunate, but now here we go. Xiaohao going to get engaged upon. They're going to try and burn him out, but he's still a Wukong. He's still got plenty to do with it. And now they're pushing in the more damage here. Flash forward, not quite able to get him. Now the TV comes in. That's a good explosive pass to come out. Double kill comes in here for the Jhin as Hope almost goes down. Can Z, see if he can deal with Shanks, who's very menacing, but not quite 100%. The worst carry in the world right now. Biubiu goes forward, but Biubiu might have gone a bit too far forward. There we go. Shanks picks up SwordArt. They're looking to try and burn him down before he can get away. No real mana, but the slows. Everything is just being used here beside a WE to keep themselves alive.
That is an overdive. AL, they've done so well this entire game to not overstep their safe boundaries. They do it this time. Just as the Baron falls off, Dragon was up. Maybe thought that could be the knockout blow. Luckily for them, Team WE not in position to go towards the Dragon immediately after. Where does this start? Starts on Jungler being caught out of position. That's been the tail. Both these teams actually for the last couple of minutes. Of course, the Baron was hung out of position. This time it's the Wukong, but towards the end of this, both carries flashing forward, neither of them finding the kill. And we were asking for Biubiu to make some plays. Hadn't really been doing that so far. Honestly, Biubiu hadn't had his ultimate for most of the big fights in this game. Finally has it at a very important moment, and both carries put themselves on a silver platter right in front of him. It gives W a little bit of hope, a little bit of something. Still a hard game. That's an important amount of gold back in pocket.
It is. I'm sorry, I'm just... Straight up, Xiaohao should not have died. He actually got hit by the fourth final shot, which we didn't see because everyone was running forward, but Hope just curved the bullet right between everybody and found him. Ridiculous amount of things. I was wondering how it was a double kill so quickly when I thought he got out, but we come back into live. It is still the advantage here, about 3,000 gold for the side of AL. They've got themselves the Mountain Dragon as well, so that's 2 Mountain Dragons stacking. That's a hell of a lot of resistances, and it's just going to get harder and harder. Cosmic Overdrive for Biubiu means he will do significant amounts of damage, but right now, it is all about how AL want to try and kind of continue this game, because we saw when it gets scrappy, when it's an extended fight like that, that's where the Gragas and the Kassadin kind of thrive.
Yeah, especially if Kassadin hasn't been chunked out at the start of the fight. He's not the primary target. He unlikely should be, actually, at this kind of level. Got enough mobility to get his way out of things. Hung on the other side on this fight. Does have himself that Radiant Virtue. And in that kind of fight as well, actually, stays alive long enough to get significant value out of it. He has himself a stopwatch as well, stopwatch on both him and the Kassadin coming up to the next couple of fights in the game. Of course, AL, they have themselves 2 dragons of their own right now. It's not like you've got a sole point to hang over anyone's Legend's head. So we're really waiting for the next big objective spawns. We've got Baron in a minute, have Dragon in 3.5 minutes. This could be a bit of a time to just kind of put yourself up, just establish that vision control. You don't have to back off too heavily to go towards one of these objectives. You've got a bit of time to sort out your map state. AL particularly can look towards these Ashe arrows just as these objectives spawns again. See if they can find anyone out of position.
3 items now onto your carries here of AL. You've got the Banshees. You've even got a little stopwatch there in the back pocket for King Z, just in case he wants to check the time and may accidentally break it. We'll never know. You got the Runan's Hurricane alongside the Kraken Slayer and, of course, the Collector here. So Betty should be able to burst down any of the squishy bot laners that might be walking up towards him. WE need to make sure that they do not fall too far behind in this game. They need to make sure they do not lose too much ground in this kind of, you know, battle of attrition. They are waiting for Shanks to get to level 16, and while it's happening, Hullbreaker on ZDZ means that in a 1v3, I don't think you're going to be that powerful, my friend. I say that. Oh my lord, that's a lot of a damage. One more Q, but he's not quite able to get it down. Oh, that was so close there to being a 1-for-1 trade, which would have been disastrous. But now Baron live, everyone's on bot side. Do AL try to burst it?
No, they're not in position to, because they set up for the kind of the split map play with ZDZ on a side like that. The Hullbreaker arrow misses.
That's unfortunate there. We're going to see a full engage now. No decoy to be used here by the Wukong. Heng uses his stopwatch to keep himself alive and well. Oh, they get the decoy. One more hit, and it's good. WE have pounced. WE have found 3 kills. AL. Oh my word, you had it all. You was all lined up so perfectly for you. Why were you just throwing it away?
WE, they punish AL not being in position to respond, not being in position to punish. No one can save CDZ. No one's teleporting into that. You didn't have someone to realm warp there either. Nor were AL in a position to go towards that Baron. So WE, they get themselves the big objectives. They get themselves in a great position to push up on the map, go towards the Dragon themselves later at this point. And suddenly, this game is getting to the point where Kassadin will become a factor. You're getting to the point where level 16 very, very much on the table for one of these big blowout fights. And Betty, as much as he was the story of the early game on this Kaisa, cannot impact these fights when his engage is going so awry from his top side of the map.
Look, SwordArt, just hit a player. Just hit anyone. 17 now for Shanks.
There you go.
Comes back
There's
onto the map with that.
There's your level 16.
Yep, that is a very, very unfortunate thing. I mean, look, you know, SwordArt, you need to be hitting arrows onto anyone. Even if he hits it on the Heng there, they get him out. You know, he's able to, you know, use the slow onto Lwandy. They get so much more there. They probably burn the Mikhail's Crucible. So much more gets used or burned effectively, as we can now see bot side. Biubiu seeing if he can maybe make a play here onto the Ryze, and he will most certainly be able to do it. You see the Zhonya's being used, the Ashe arrow used there, but it's only going to delay the inevitable. And AL are crumbling Nymaera. AL were so close to getting their first series. They wanted to be 1-7, but it's looked like it's going to be 0-8.
It's looking more and more that way. So many points in this game. We could point out and say, look, this should be a game-breaking advantage. This puts you in the position to win your first series, but WE, despite their own failings in this series, despite not really having the precision that they would want, if win is a win and they're pushing it with Baron, numbers advantage, no Ryze on the table, looking to put themselves in a great spot.
They really, really are. Your 4v5, your SwordArt already taking so much damage. You can see Shanks just so confident moving forward there. They don't want to overextend it. They don't want to try and push away this win. Again, this will put them at 4-4. And if you were WE at the start of the split, and you said, hey, at the halfway point, you'll take a 4-4 scoreline, you take that all day, every day.
You would. You're gonna back off to spend their ill-gotten gains. Dragon is alive right now, so maybe... Oh, Shanks caught out.
He wants to be caught out. Betty moves forward. They haven't taken the Dragon just yet. Here we go, full-on engage. Good disengage from the Gragas. You've got Pinzy coming in here now with the TP. Now they know they need this Dragon. They need to just keep sacking these Drakes. They know they can't let this one go, because if they let this one go, there might not be another opportunity. Here we go. Dragon down very, very low. ZDZ knows he doesn't mind if he dies, because he just had to secure the Dragon. It has been secured as they push now forward. AL, get the jungler. AL, keep pushing. And AL find a moment where Shanks wasn't with the team.
He wasn't there, and you don't have to clean up. Betty on that HP would have been a sitting duck for Shanks. But it's not to be, and we've got another twist, another chapter left in this book, as Game 3 is giving so many questions to both of these teams. It is tense, it is not precise, but it is all on the line for both of these teams in their last game of this first half of the split.
I mean, it is a tough one. Shanks goes here, gets cut out a little bit, and I love this from Betty saying, look, if I go in on top of him, he has to back away. He's not with his team.
Yeah, it is. And that W, that Void Seeker, comes in so crucially. That also comes in crucially from Biubiu. We've seen a couple of plays earlier into the game where the Gragas ult wasn't available. That one comes at quite high value. But throughout all of this, AL just find a point to see that Kassadin isn't there. I don't know if they actually knew about that. I think maybe they just knew by kind of, by context, I suppose, not seeing Kassadin there at this point. Maybe they thought he'd be flanking around so they could try and finish off that fight in as quick a time frame as possible, but they really do get away with that one. Even on that HP, you gotta feel like if Shanks was there, cleanup happens afterwards.
All right, this is where it now becomes a problem for WE, because yes, the Kassadin is massive. Kassadin's level 18, building up to 6 items. Why wouldn't they just win? That is a 27% extra armor and magic resistance on everyone on your team. With a Mom and Mortius, the value you're getting from that item from Betty is monstrous. It is disgusting. Even slightly offensive, defensive items become so much more potent, so much more powerful against this team's composition. You get that up to 36%. There, I do not see this. You have to fight at this next dragon. You cannot let Soul go over to AL if you're WE.
Yeah, you have Void Staffs on your solo laners, but you look at the Hullbreaker or the Jax and you go, maybe not. Maybe we don't do that. Look how close it got the last time. Even stuff like not having anti-heal at this point, going to be pretty important. You have it on the Chainsword of Heng, but you don't have anything like an Oblivion Orb on your solo lanes. You need to really watch who is at the plays when you're trying to play against Jax in this side lane, because that Divine Sunderer, if you don't have anti-heal on it with those amounts of resist, every HP means so much more. It weighs that much more. Not being able to deny that with regen, kind of important now as well.
Come on, AL. I don't care if this show's biased. You need a win. We need the circle of suck here in the LPL, and we need to know that you can take someone else down. And again, there are no easy games in the LPL. There are no easy teams. Yes, there are definitely teams that you're looking at far more favorably, but you look at Weibo, you look at BLG, randomly dropping series of teams that we would never expect them to. And again, I don't think Shanks wins this. You're against a hole breaker. Again, we talk about those resistances. You can't take that fight.
Yeah, the healing from the SwordArt, the huge amount of resist coming out from just that single item, but the Dragon's buffing it up. Hugely important, but I think Shanks was there to try and get something on the bot side of the map, clear out the wave at least, or at least part of it, to allow WE's super minions to push in a little further. Baron is spawning. WE, they've concentrated on the top half of the map. They have the vision at this point to give themselves lit up jungle for Anyone's Legends arrival to this objective. He has a teleport, because he will have to use it earlier though. This Baron gets absolutely burst out.
It doesn't though, because they can't fully commit to it. If they fully commit to it, the magic resistance debuff they get from the Baron would just absolutely set up a fish in a barrel for this Ryze. They cannot go for it. They got the TP out of Pinsy, and that's kind of what they wanted for now. Heng moving in, making sure they can cover all this vision. They haven't got any more super minions in that bot side, and now you've got a
bit of a switcheroo.
Switcheroo now. You've got to be very careful. There is a TP coming in from Shanks. Maybe he goes for that little bit of a play. As Biubiu puts himself out. There we go. It's going to be a flank there from Shanks. Very much on the top side there. They know it's coming in, so they know exactly where he is. That's going to be a tower. Guess what? Nobody cares right now. When it becomes an inhibitor, that's when I start to get a little bit worried for AL.
Yeah, well, Shanks knows he's safe right now. You have to pull off something like this Ashe ult to try and hit him. With the amount of ultimate cooldown that he has now, you're unlikely to hit that kind of skill shot. Very hard to close down this Kassadin.
Biubiu!
Oh, he's caught out.
He's caught out, he flashes, and he does get his ultimate away. Now you can see they're going to go in straight in. Betty gets himself the shotgun kill. He can't go down just yet. ZDZ does teleport in onto the Baron pit. Jhin is dead. AL looking to make this one live for themselves with Pinsy, trying to make it work. They're so low. There's so many low health bars, but ZDZ is just too damn big. And Nymaera, they might have been able to do it. They need to push mid. They need to kill off this revive, and they need to make sure they secure this win.
He's trying to kill off as many as he can, get SwordArt, but that is not enough. Ryze, Jax storming forward towards the base, and Anyone's Legend will They will not be denied a victory in their first 8 series. They will no longer be winless, going towards the Nexus.
Beat me 7 times, shame on you. Beat me 8, shame on me. And they will not allow it to happen an 8th time. These death timers are coming back up, and they have got a slight minion wave. They will be able to take them out. Ryze is very, very low. It's going to be on ZDD to go for it. I don't think there's going to be much here to do. There's a good explosive cast. Is this game over? I don't know, because they're defending the next. Just one more auto attack, and they've done it! AL, you swear they just won the World Championship!
Looks of elation for this team who has suffered so much in this split so far. They had struggled to string together consistent best of 3s, an odd game there, here and there, going their way, but this is the first series, and you can tell how much it looks to them. And that, honestly, I love to see this from teams which have been down and out, your teams which have struggled to put together those victories. It just reminds you what kind of emotions this brings about, how much this competition means to these players on these stages.
And this is what I mean when I say there are no easy games in the LPL. This level of play is that you can drop to